Protesters rallying in downtown calling for a ceasefire. They are clearly not appeased despite the president's decision to pause sending some offensive weapons to Israel because of fears they might cause widespread civilian deaths in Rafah. Democrats are anxious the unrest could overshadow the convention in Chicago this summer. Politico now reporting some people in the president's orbit are pushing to make the event a hybrid production to minimize the possibilities of disruptions.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. President Biden now facing an impeachment effort following his threat to withhold weapons from Israel if they move forward with their planned invasion of Rafah. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson has more from the White House.
The Republican lawmaker leading the impeachment effort says President Biden's decision to withhold weaponry to Israel is all about politics. Corey Mills, a congressman from Florida, said that, quote, he wants to win Michigan. He wants to pander to the radical left. Now, of course, Biden is not the only president to withhold aid to Israel. Ronald Reagan held up sending F-16s and cluster bombs in the early 80s. But what some think is now different is now is not the time to delay weapons shipments to Israel after Hamas slaughtered 1,200 Israelis on October 7th and took hundreds hostage. 133 remain in captivity, including some Americans, of course. Blocking weapons to Israel while talking about settlement policy in 2019 is something Biden said he would never do.
America is listening to Fox News.
From the Fox News Podcast Network.
I'm Emily Campagno, and this is the Fox True Crime Podcast.
And I had nothing to do with her disappearance, but people still accuse me of it.
I sit down with the people who lived the nightmares.
I was in shock. I was just devastated.
The investigators who tirelessly worked on the case.
I feel for their families, and I really hope that they can catch this guy.
Bringing you closer to the story than you ever thought possible.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts. From the Fox News Podcasts Network. Listen to the all-new Bret Baier podcast featuring Common Ground, talking to lawmakers weekly from opposite sides of the political spectrum about the issues of the day and how Americans can find common ground in a politicized world.
That's just not happening on Capitol Hill. It takes leadership, right?
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Along with all your Bret Baier favorites like the campaign, the candidates, the all-star panel, and much more. Available now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He was found dead. I'm Wes Woodward, and here's what's trending this hour. IMPD investigating after officers discovered a dead man on Vega Way on Indy's southwest side Friday afternoon. Officers think the man had been in an argument, and when that disagreement became physical, he was knocked out. Though it's not clear what caused his death, one person of interest has been detained so far. Police say 2 people have died following separate shootings in Indianapolis early Saturday morning. Sasha Nixon reports.
Indy Metro police officers found an injured man on Schofield Avenue around 12:30 a.m. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition, but he did not survive. Then officers later found a body near Sear Drive. That body was also male. Police do not think the shootings are connected. Sasha Nixon, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
Pro-Palestine protesters that blocked traffic in front of the governor's mansion last month have been charged. Donnie Burgess has that story.
The protesters had a similar message to the ones you've been hearing about from college campuses like Columbia or even IU in Bloomington. They want the U.S. to cut ties with Israel-backed companies that they believe support the genocide of Palestinians. A probable cause affidavit from the Marion County Prosecutor's Office states the protesters promised to not block traffic April 25th, but that was not a promise kept. The group was warned by IMPD, and 14 people were arrested, now charged with obstructing traffic. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The average price for gas across the state is currently $3.61 per gallon. That's according to GasBuddy.com. That's just below the national average of $3.64. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now here's the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, mostly clear skies still in place, low temperatures in the upper 40s. On Mother's Day, it's going to be a fantastic day. High temperatures topping out in the mid to upper 70s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Our Cookie Two-Step Ice Cream is a creamy vanilla ice cream with hints of brown sugar, chunks of chocolate cream-filled cookies, and tasty chocolate chip cookie dough pieces. Cookie Two-Step has everybody's taste buds two-stepping, and 1 and 2.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Want to explore using Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits to heat and cool your home or business? Learn more at AbsoluteComfort.org. That's AbsoluteComfort.org.
Indy Humane. Find your new best friend today. Visit IndyHumane.org.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment, and this is the Gun Guy.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, bang, bang.
With Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
Well, good afternoon, and welcome to a little bit of a delayed and abbreviated Gun Guy show. But hey, we're here for an hour, and we're going to make the most of it. I hope you're enjoying what turned out to be an absolutely fabulous day here in Indianapolis. And it's an exciting weekend in Indianapolis. I mean, we had the Pacers win in an absolute white-knuckle game last night. The wife and I were screaming and yelling on the edge of our chairs. It was a fun game. Glad they pulled it out, and need to win tomorrow at 3:30. Man, if you're coming downtown or you were downtown last night, man, whether you're from here or even you're visiting, even from the evil New York, welcome to Indy. We're glad you're here. Spend a lot of money, as Tony Katz always says, while you're here in town, and we hope you get to see the Pacers win another game against the evil Knicks. I mean, as an old guy, man, I remember like it was yesterday, some of the series we had with the Knicks and the Reggie Miller heroics. I think it was 8 points in 9 seconds or something along those lines. I'm sure somebody will correct me on the timing. But anyway, we've had a great history, and it makes for a great weekend. And I'm excited to be down here. The city, I'm hoping, is making a bit of a comeback. You see, just today I noticed a few less homeless people out on the circle, and maybe that's because the more important people from New York are in town, and so the local government will clean the city up a little bit for them, but not for us who actually live here. But let's get more into what you tune into the Gun Guy show to hear about, and that is Second Amendment issues. And I got to tell you, we all suffered. If you care about Second Amendment rights in Indiana, if you care about Second Amendment rights in this country, we took a big loss here this last week with the primary elections in Indiana. We took a loss. Those of us who care about Second Amendment rights in Indiana, and if you live in the 6th Congressional District, which includes some lower parts of Marion County, some southern areas of Marion County, and then goes south and east from there, it includes Columbus, always considered a conservative district and dominated by Republicans. And you've heard me talk for some time about Jefferson Shreve, the former candidate for mayor here in Indianapolis, who made it a primary plank in his platform to run on gun control. I mean, very specifically, he proposed an assault weapon ban in Marion County. Something that would absolutely, no question, be unconstitutional. He proposed raising the age to buy a firearm to 21, which would only apply to rifles and shotguns because under federal law, you already have to be 21 to buy a handgun from a dealer. So this would really only affect rifles and shotguns. And you've heard me talk about that many times. And he wanted to roll back constitutional carry, something I personally fought for 10 years to get passed, which we finally passed in 2022. And all that says is, if you're a law-abiding citizen, big if you would pass the background check to get a license to carry, were you to apply for one, if you're not prohibited by state or federal law from possessing a firearm, you don't have to go to the government and ask for permission first before you exercise a right that you already have guaranteed to you by both the Indiana and the U.S. constitutions. And Jefferson Shreve wanted to do all that when he ran for mayor. It clearly is where his heart is, or he wouldn't have proposed it. And yes, you could also say he was just pandering to liberal voters in Marion County, but either way, he has to be accountable for that. On the basis of those proposals, again, this was his platform, very vocal about it, had news conferences. I mean, there's no denying this. On that basis, this guy got an F rating. F is in Foxtrot from the NRA. And you know what? I guess I'm old enough to be naive enough, based on prior experience, to believe that if you get an F rating, the lowest rating from NRA, as a Republican, you can't win a primary. Not in Indiana. And again, I use the word naive. Yes, clearly so. I mean, it doesn't seem that long ago to me that we had, a 30-year incumbent in Senator Richard Lugar in the U.S. Senate representing Indiana. And Richard Lugar was a beloved politician here in Indiana. If you can put beloved and politician in the same sentence, you can do it with Dick Lugar. He was just a good guy. And a lot of Hoosiers thought very, very highly of Richard Lugar. But you know what? After he got some really bad advice from, it turns out, the same guy was his campaign manager, was also the chief advisor to Jefferson Shreve when he ran for mayor, a guy named Mark Lubbers, Brain Trust. Well, hey, I can't ridicule the guy too much, because if he's still involved with the Shreve campaign, hey, they just won the Republican primary. So maybe I'm the one who's not particularly bright in this whole scenario. But Richard Lugar was, if not 30 years, very close to a 30-year incumbent, dearly loved by Indiana voters. And after he came out and favored an assault weapon ban at the federal level, he got an F rating from NRA and promptly lost his next primary to Richard Murdoch. Richard Murdoch was not a particularly great candidate. Richard Murdoch winning that primary is what gave us Joe Donnelly, a Democrat senator for several years. But it was the power, the impact, the influence of that F rating from NRA that doomed a very popular senator here from Indiana and a long-term incumbent. And this is what we need to take stock of. This is what we need to realize. I'm going to come back after this break. We're going to talk more about this. Is there was a time when an F rating would doom any Republican candidate in Indiana. No question about it. You're done. Jefferson Shreve still won the primary, the Republican primary for the 6th Congressional District, a very conservative district. Again, you pick up some of Marion County in that district as it's been redistricted here fairly lately. But still, how the hell do you win that district with an F rating from the NRA? How does that happen? Well, there's an article that was just published, not with respect to Jefferson Shreve at all, but it was published by my friends at bearingarms.com, and I posted it on my Twitter. If you want to see the article, you can go to my Twitter or X, whatever the hell we're calling it these days, at Guy Relford. And check this out. And it says, can the GOP still be trusted on the Second Amendment? And then it says, the NRA void needs to be filled as soon as possible. What does all that mean? What should we be doing if we're someone who cares about our Second Amendment rights in this country? And in particular, we care about our Second Amendment rights in Indiana. Looking at a dude who just won the Republican primary in the 6th Congressional District with an F rating from NRA, what should that be telling us about what we should be doing, what we should be working on, what we should be focused on going forward? And this article, even though it has no reference in it whatsoever to Jefferson Shreve, is directly on point. I commend it to your reading. In the meantime, we're taking a break. We'll be right back. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
I remember those family moments listening to the Indianapolis 500.
The magic of May.
Pool party, grill out, beers, hot dogs, listen to the race.
The traditions.
The playing of taps right before the start of the race.
The drivers.
Rick Mears.
Elio Castroneves.
Al Unser Jr.
The memories.
Everybody tailgating and having a good time.
For more than 70 years.
AJ Foyt takes the lead from Eddie Saxon.
Your home of the Indianapolis 500. 93 WIBC.
Guy Relford for the Indiana Gun Club, located in Fortville, but really it's pretty much in Fishers, right next to Geist Reservoir. It's an easy drive from Indianapolis. It's someplace I go often. It's the premier place for shotgun sports here in Indiana. I shoot sporting clays there. I love it. It's located at 14926 East 113th Street. Address is Fortville. It's just a little way from the Geist boat ramp, right there off of Oleo Road and 113th. You can check it out. They've got sporting clays, they've got trap, they've got skeet, they've got 5-stand. It's a place that can host your fundraiser, your corporate event, whether it's a client relations meeting, a bachelor party even. They've got room to accommodate 120 people per session, and they can host up to 250 people in a day. They have catered meal services by my friend Gordon Gamilla, who's a fabulous trained chef. I've eaten there. It's all fabulous. Check them out at indianagunclub.com. And by the way, coming up here this month on the 31st, they've got Clays for a Cause, which is a fundraiser for the Salvation Army. Go out, bust some clays, raise some money for a great cause. You can see all that information at indianagunclub.com or give them a call at 317-485-6540. That's indianagunclub.com.
Reggie was a nurse for 16 years.
I had become very burnt out. I wasn't making good money.
Then it happened.
There was an ad for My Computer Career, and it just spoke to me.
My Computer Career was the best decision he ever made.
I could study anywhere from my laptop, and I was working in the first couple weeks of me being in class.
Reggie hit a home run.
The field is teeming with jobs.
Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
The school is amazing.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery when you add an adjustable base. Ends Sunday. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hi, it's Bob with Royal Spa. Simply said, Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better. Custom engineered to last a lifetime and cost less to operate. That's simply better. Our water has 24-hour circulation, filtration, aeration, and purification. That's simply better water. Natural minerals to enhance water quality and safe to use with Epsom salts. That's simply better relaxation. Simply said, Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better.
Royal Spa.
Indiana Pathways for Aging helps Hoosier Medicaid members age 60 and over get support at no additional cost to live life their way.
Mom's Parkinson's is progressing, and Pathways provides in-home support so she can be with family every day.
Pathways coordinates Medicaid and Medicare services. I'm getting help with meals, personal care, and transportation.
One day, I might choose a nursing home, but today, I have options with Pathways.
Eligible members can select a plan now. Call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
If your wedding anniversary is approaching, that means a visit to Barrington Jewels in Clearwater Crossing. You must see the truly one-of-a-kind creations at Barrington. You'll find exquisite and unique anniversary bands at great prices and with special financing available. Save time and effort and shop Barrington Jewels first. Consider upgrading her diamond, a truly special way to show your love. Plus Swiss and German brand sport watches. Don't wait. Get to Barrington Jewels today. And remember, you haven't seen a diamond until you've seen a Barrington diamond.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Rob. Right now, schedule your free in-home estimate. For every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free, plus 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years. Restrictions apply. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
We need each other because every someone needs someone else.
We need each other because when we work together, we can do so much more.
We connect more children with what they need to grow up healthy, educated, and safe. And that's what Child Fund is all about.
Because when you make someone's world better, you make everyone's world better.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
Learn more at childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
B&W Plumbing, HVAC, and Electrical is here to make your spring comfortable and hassle-free. Go to bplusw.com/radio to schedule your appointment today. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
Through their service, veterans have our backs. Now we should have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org.
Second to none on the Second Amendment. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. And I mentioned this article. It really caught my eye. Just posted today at bearingarms.com. And I've posted the link on my Twitter. If you wouldn't mind, give me a follow while you're there if you don't already. But it says, can GOP still be trusted on guns? Why the NRA void needs to be filled ASAP. And it's really caught my attention because I got to be honest, I'm still reeling a little bit from the Jefferson-Shreve victory in the 6th Congressional District. Look, I don't live in that district, but this is a guy going to Congress in all likelihood. Very unlikely a Democrat's going to beat him in the 6th Congressional District. But this is a guy going to Congress to represent Indiana who just, as a mayoral candidate, proposed all the favorite gun control measures of the Democrats and promptly and justifiably earned an F rating from the NRA as a result. And he still won. And my feeling on watching those results, and listen, I was watching a lot of the races. I was watching, some of my friends that are in the Indiana General Assembly. I was watching how their races were going. Some of those were a little tight. Some of those were only tight, it turns out, because Democrats showed up to vote in the Republican primary trying to oust the incumbent Republican. And, man, these open primaries, they create that opportunity for people to scam the system. It's something I think the legislature needs to take a look at, because not every state has open primaries like we do in Indiana. You just walk in and say, yo, yeah, Republican. Even though you've been a Democrat your entire life, you voted Democrat your whole life, you just want to get rid of an incumbent Republican in the primary because he or she goes to the General Assembly and kicks your ass on policy issues. That's something we need to take a look at. But I was watching a lot of the results, but I was really watching this Jefferson-Shreve primary result. And Shreve led it early on. He led it pretty much throughout, was declared the winner fairly early. It wasn't a huge margin. I don't know, 6 or 7 points, something like that, over Mike Speedy, who'd been here on the show, who I've worked with on Second Amendment issues in the Indiana General Assembly, who was just on the show last week, who has an A+ rating from the NRA. So how does a guy with an F rating from the NRA go into a primary election as a Republican in Indiana in a district like this? Isn't like the 7th district. We're not talking like Marion County. We're not talking about Hammond. We're not talking about Bloomington. We're talking about the 6th congressional district. I mean, biggest town is Columbus. How does a guy with an F rating from the NRA go into that and win it? And what has got me thinking is that F rating from NRA didn't have nearly the influence that a lot of us thought it would have. And that takes me back to this article I'm talking about on Bearing Arms, which it says why the NRA void needs to be filled ASAP. And what are they talking about? Well, it's something I've been talking about for a long time. I mean, in 2020, I formed the 2A Project, a gun rights group right here in Indiana, focused first on Indiana. I'd like to get big enough that we can have a big influence at the national level as well. And we're ramping up to that. But why did I form the 2A Project? Because I was concerned with all the trouble within the NRA and all the disarray and the disorganization and the external attacks that NRA brought to a large degree on itself with mismanagement of money primarily under the direction of one Wayne LaPierre, who thankfully is now gone. I mean, you can go to a gun-related page on social media and mention NRA, and the first 8 or 10 posts from gun owners will be F the NRA or some derivative thereof. And I've talked a lot about this here on the show. I've talked about the fact that when it comes to the people who show up to help us legislate, to help us fight for bills or fight against bills, here in the Indiana General Assembly, our local NRA representatives have been fabulous, and they have been. But that's different from the national clout that NRA does or doesn't have, including in races like we just saw in the 6th congressional district. And I saw the need to fill the void that this article just posted today, again, Bearing Arms, why the NRA void needs to be filled. I was focused on Indiana. And I got to tell you, we failed on this 6th congressional district primary. And what this tells me is that, and again, and I know what you're thinking. I know a lot of people are probably going to comment on social media is, Guy, you're not paying attention. Did you see how many millions of dollars Jefferson Shreve spent on that election? He spent millions and millions and millions. I couldn't give you a number right now. In fact, during the last break, I went out and I Googled how much did Jefferson Shreve spend on the 6th congressional race, and I didn't get a clear answer. By all accounts, it was a lot of millions. At the 2A Project, do we have a lot of millions in the bank? No, we do not. We certainly do not. But it tells me, and I'm not trying to turn this into a fundraiser for the 2A Project. That's not my point. You may hear more on that point when we decide to go there. But what this tells me is that we can't rely on what we always consider to be the 900-pound gorilla in the room, the NRA. And, you know, the people who despise your Second Amendment rights out there, the Michael Bloombergs of the world, the David Hoggs of the world, the Shannon Watts of the world, a lot of them have said, hey, they're destined to win the 2A battle. They're destined to eradicate the Second Amendment altogether and or whittle it away down to nothingness. They're destined to win because NRA's made up of a bunch of old white people who are going to die off, and NRA is going to completely lose its impact as a result. Well, hey, I'm an old white guy, so I'm Exhibit A. I can't exactly dispute their point based on who I am. But the combination of the demographics of NRA, and listen, people like Kalawan Noir and many other people you see it on social media who are spokespeople for NRA, who are younger, who are people of color. God bless it. That's awesome. We need that. We got to have that, especially the younger generation, getting them involved. But at the end of the day, the credibility and the impact of NRA has to be built back up, or the void needs to be filled ASAP, to quote the headline of the article that I'm referring to. And we got to do that. We got to do it here in Indiana. And then we have to do it at the national level, or things are going to go way south. And the fact that a multi-millionaire like Jefferson Shreve can simply spend his way into a victory in a conservative district like the 6th Congressional District here in Indiana, can spend his way into a victory over somebody with an A-plus rating like Mike Speedy, who's got a record in the Indiana General Assembly of supporting the Second Amendment and fighting off assaults on the Second Amendment exactly like Jefferson Shreve proposed in the mayoral race just a year ago. A guy with an A-plus rating gets beat by the dude with an F rating from NRA. What's that tell us? That tells us we have work to do. We have a lot of work to do. Now listen, if Jefferson Shreve were to reach out to me tomorrow, or someone from his camp, and say, hey, look, we proposed things in Marion County. That was just because Marion County is a unique situation. We were just really trying to lure some voters. We don't feel strongly about those issues. We're certainly not going to do any of that when we go to Congress. We'd love to work with you on 2A issues. Would I answer that call, or I respond to that email if it were to come in? Yeah, I would do so with a tremendous amount of distrust. I would do so assuming I was being scammed, like this guy appears to want to scam anybody who was going to vote for him in whatever election, because he does a 180 on a critical issue like this, depending on what election he's in. So, but I would certainly respond. But in the meantime, damn, big loss for us, man. Big loss for us. You have to acknowledge it. You can't downplay it. And one day, this it's funny. This metaphor just popped into my head. There was a time I came off the football field in high school. I was playing football in high school. It's funny. I haven't even thought about this in forever. But came off. I don't know. I was a sophomore, junior, I think. But we'd gotten beat. And, well, it had to be sophomore or junior because we went undefeated in the regular season at Carmel my senior year. Got beat in the state championship game. And it wasn't that game. But at any rate, earlier on, we'd gotten beat. And I came off the field at the end of the game, and I was mad. I was mad that we'd lost. I was mad. I had, bad calls from the officials. I was mad. I was just mad. And I've never been one to throw a helmet. But I plopped down on the bench. My teammates were all running off to the locker room. I just plopped down on the bench and kind of slammed my helmet down on the seat next to me, put my head in my hands, and I was just mad as hell. I mean, next thing you know, I'm getting yanked to my feet by my collar. I was a big guy in high. I was 6'4", 230 or so. I wasn't very used to getting yanked around. I got yanked to my feet very forcefully. And I turn around to see who the hell just did this to me. And it was my dad. And yeah, my dad could yank me around any damn time he wanted to, anytime he decided to. Big, strong guy. And he yanked me up and he spun me around. He gets right up in my face. He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, I'm just mad. I'm mad we lost. I'm mad. He goes, "What are you mad at?" "Well, I'm mad at that referee who called holding. I don't know, whatever the list of excuses was." I start going through the list of excuses. And my dad said, "Why aren't you mad that you didn't do more to win the game? Why aren't you focused on what you could have done to change the result? Why aren't you focused on what you're going to do in the next game so that your team doesn't lose? Why are you sitting there whining when you're not focused on what you should be focused on, which is what you can do to win the next damn game? Boom, lesson learned. And that's exactly why that speech from my dad, who, by the way, still had my jersey rolled up in his fists and was right up in my face, and there may have been a profanity or two dropped in the middle of that speech. But that's exactly what I'm feeling right now. Because if you care about Second Amendment rights in Indiana, we just got our butts kicked in the 6th Congressional District. So what are we going to do about it? There's going to be a hell of a lot more on that point, and a hell of a lot more on that question, and a hell of a lot more you're going to hear from the Two-Way Project, because we need to put a lot more resources into the Two-Way Project so the Two-Way Project has a lot more resources to expend, and make sure we don't see a result like this. And when I read this headline, why the NRA void needs to be filled ASAP here in Indiana, oh, hell yes. That's exactly the void we need to be filling ASAP, to quote that article. We're past the bottom of the hour. We're taking a break. Give me a call. I don't know if a lot of people may not be tuned in just because you heard the race coverage at the beginning of what ordinarily is our show. But give us a call if you're out there and have a question or a comment, 317-239-9393. That's 317-239-9393. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
Do they still do mail and caramel?
Caramel, don't ever change.
I love the living statues that sit on the benches. They're awesome.
Yes, that's how people from Greenwood earn extra money.
Oh, I'm going to get emails.
What have I done? You know everybody here is just in debt and house poor up to their ass. Don't you laugh, Zionsville. You have it worse. $1.13 trillion of credit card debt. Half of that is on the west side of Carmel.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
You may not have 1,000 horsepower, but you're always racing. Whether it's to work, to pick something up, or drop someone off. So go the distance, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Shop any of Hubler's 12 locations, then choose from over 2,000 vehicles. Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes, all models. Certified vehicles. Luxury vehicles. Even the hard-to-find ones. Plus, every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report.
'Cause Hubler's got you covered.
No matter where you're racing to, go the distance, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-509-2228. 888-509-2228. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, North Carolina. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment decision.
Your Mother's Day shopping has been made easy. All you have to do is go to PA Jewelers in Brownsburg, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg. With truly unbeatable prices, 70% less than competitors. Simple pieces to extravagant jewelry, a huge selection including designer and vintage pieces, and unique offerings from 5 different local jewelry artists. More than a kiss, PA Jewelers inside Premier Arms, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, 317-858-3030, 858-3030.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by B&W Plumbing, HVAC, and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
Callahan. A huge crowd has gathered in Wildwood on the Jersey Shore for tonight's rally with former President Trump. New Jersey Republican Congressman Jeff Van Drew telling Fox News his state is in play in November.
We've got a shot at this. We're going to work hard. This isn't about saving the Republican Party. This is about saving the very republic itself.
President Biden won New Jersey in 2020. First Lady Jill Biden addressing commencement ceremonies at Mesa Community College in Tempe, Arizona today.
Class of 2024, you are brave and fierce. You made it. Let the world feel your thunder. And the next time someone tells you that you can't, you're going to say, oh, yeah? Watch me.
America is listening to Fox News.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's Ultimate Speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract when you add one unlimited mobile line. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Call 1-800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. EcoBell and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabit per second 5G internet at Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Up to 3 times downloads for existing essential and standard customers.
Think of everything you do to provide for your family. A home, food on the table, healthcare, vacations, and saving for your kids' education. It's all good as long as you're alive, but it's only a drop in the bucket of what they'll need if you die without life insurance. Buying term life insurance is not something you can afford to put off. Call the Term Lifeline now for the lowest possible rates on quality term life insurance. Term life rates are at all-time lows, and we can save you up to 70%. If you already have coverage, you could be paying too much. One call could save you thousands of dollars. We have great rates for smokers, too, or if you have health problems. Providing for today is good, but it's not enough if you die prematurely. Call the Term Lifeline today for a free quote. Protect your family and see if you could save up to 70%.
866-549-TERM. 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 That's 866-549-8376.
Your rights, your responsibilities, your guns. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. And I'll tell you what, we've had a couple of callers, which we always appreciate. Let's go to the phone lines. And Kevin has called in. Kevin, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm just listening to you talking about the old white guy comment rung true with the NRA. And I'm curious, what do you think can be done? What can the NRA do at a grassroots level to branch out to other people? Because the way I look at the U.S. Constitution, Second Amendment specifically, it applies to all of us or it applies to none of us.
Yeah, no, you couldn't be more right, Kevin. And listen, NRA has been involved in a lot of these activities for a long time. For instance, you're seeing now a lot of people posting about attending the Friends of the NRA banquets. And what do those do? Those are to fund, they're not political. They're not part of NRA ILA, which is Institute for Legislative Action, which is the political wing. It's to fund youth shooting sports. And that's the smartest thing NRA can be doing, but they've been doing that for a long time to get youth involved. And as far as the youth that are already involved, to support their teams and provide them resources and get the next generation involved, that's huge. But I think the number one thing NRA needs to do is internally. And listen, you've heard Craig Haggard here on the show. He's a relatively new representative from Indiana, down the Martinsville area, who's represented the Indiana or was elected to the Indiana General Assembly. Craig was just voted as into the board of directors for NRA. And we already have Senator Jim Toms, who's a great 2A advocate, who wrote our preemption bill, which is maybe the most important pro 2A bill we have here in Indiana. that prevents local governments from regulating firearms. The president of the Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association, Charlie Hill-Tunin, is also a part of the board of directors. And so we've got some great Indiana contacts, but NRA needs to build its credibility up from within and get past the scandals and the allegations of mismanagement of funds. Because when you read that Wayne LaPierre is spending, I don't know, don't quote me on the numbers, but, you know, something like $10,000 on a suit, or spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, and this is of NRA money. These are contributions. You know, he's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on, you know, renting yachts and these luxurious vacations and flying himself and his family around. I mean, that's not okay, and that's going to turn a lot of people off. And it has turned a lot of people off. And you also have to establish your credibility, reestablish your credibility by taking a hard line on 2A related political issues and not compromising, not giving too much away, because NRA has too much of a history of giving one thing away because they think it's going to help them save something else. You know, let's give away bump stocks. They came out and they said, we're inviting the ATF to re-examine the legality of bump stocks because they were worried about an assault weapon ban after the Las Vegas shooting, where a bump stock was used in several so-called assault weapons. So they're thinking, well, we'll give away this little thing so we don't lose the bigger thing. And what's naive about that is that the other side, the anti-2A people, are never satisfied. They don't ever say, oh, well, thanks, you gave us this one thing. We're done now. We'll just go home and be quiet. No, it doesn't work that way. It absolutely does not work that way. They'll just take the thing you gave them and say, aha, declare victory, use that to fundraise, say how they just kicked the NRA's butt, and guess what? Now they're targeting the next thing that you were trying to preserve all along. When NRA did that with bump stocks, you know, and I knew what they were doing, and I understand why they were doing it. They weren't doing it because they're trying to give away Second Amendment rights. They were doing it because they made a poor tactical decision, thinking that if they just gave away this one thing, they wouldn't give away the bigger thing. They wouldn't lose the bigger thing. It's a better way to put it. But I created my own meme. It was just a red background with great big font. But I posted it on social media, and I said, Dear NRA, when the wolves are at the door, you don't throw them a scrap of meat and expect them to go away. You just get more wolves. And that's exactly how that works. You don't let them declare victory and think they're done. So that's what NRA needs to do. They need to take some hard lines. They need to win. They also need to reestablish themselves. And frankly, a lot of this is economic. They need to establish their credibility so they build up their resources, so they also have the money to spend to come in and counteract. Because it's one thing to give Jefferson Shreve an F rating. But where were the NRA ads opposing Jefferson Shreve? That money wasn't spent. That money may not have been available. I don't know. Hey, look, I'm a benefactor level life member of NRA. I've spent a lot of money to NRA because we need a strong, powerful, well-financed, efficient, credible NRA. We need them. Hey, I'm a guy who started a Second Amendment group here in Indiana, and I'm the first to tell you we need a strong, powerful NRA. That's why I completely agree with the headline. The void needs to be filled either by NRA or an alternative. Either way, we got to get back into this. I'll tell you what, I'm past the 3/4 hours. Time to take a break. We come back. We've got Micah on the phone, and if I have time, I want to go right to Micah. We're going to have a short session here, a short segment, but I want to get into this break and be right back. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Joe Biden speaks gibberish. Joe Biden has a hard time walking. He can't find his way off of a stage. Don't give me this crap that Joe Biden's cognitively all there and way superior to Donald Trump in that category. This stapler that we've got in the studio is completely more qualified to be running this country right now than Joe Biden.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Guy Relford for a new sponsor of the Gun Guy Show, and I'm really excited about these. These are my friends at Junk Viking. Junk Viking, who are these guys? Well, I'll tell you what. the wife and I had an attic, and we have an attic and an unfinished basement. We're looking at refurbishing both of those. But in order to do so, we had just a whole bunch of, crap in both of them. We had a bunch of junk, stuff that needed to be just hauled away. And so we started doing our research, and my wife, who's uniquely good at this, went out and found these guys. These are law enforcement background folks. A lot of them have military background as well. They started their own company. It's junkviking.com. They serve Hamilton County and the surrounding area. Whether it's a single item pickup, you want to haul off that old couch or that old piece of furniture, whatever it might be, to full house cleaning and estate cleanouts. They've got great reviews on Facebook and Google. You can check them out. They can demolish and remove, whether it's your shed, a deck, a play set, a hot tub, anything else you might want to have either broken up, demolished, or just hauled away. Check out my friends at junkviking.com. You can give them a call also at 317-349-3169. That's my friends at junkviking.com.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com. No inspection, no fuss. We only need to see it once. The IndyHomebuyer.com. Problem properties, tenants don't pay. Just hand us some keys and your problems go away. Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com. Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com.
No matter your reason for selling, the IndyHomebuyer.com will pay cash for your house in any condition. If you're dealing with deadbeat tenants, big repairs, or inheritance, the IndyHomebuyer.com is the solution. No hassle, no inspections. The IndyHomebuyer.com.
Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com. Get out fast, get cash, sell your home in a flash. The IndyHomebuyer.com.
Hey, it's Rob from my friends at the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold and mildew, or broken tiles, you gotta call the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. What that means to you is your project will be low maintenance, resistant to mold and mildew, easy to clean, and last for decades. The Bath Authority does it all. Walk-in tubs, replacement showers, tub-to-shower conversions, and more. And listen to this incredible deal going on at the Bath Authority. Call today, 317-532-5711, and get $1,500 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. That's right, 317-532-5711, and you get $1,500 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. Restrictions apply. TheBathAuthority.com. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
Hey, it's Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. It's that time for our annual Made in the USA sale. Racing for savings on Lazy Boy recliners, Smith Brothers sectionals, Tempur-Pedic and Stearns & Foster mattresses, and Berlin Gardens and Polywood outdoor furniture. All made in the USA with the best service and lowest price guaranteed. Sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus with free delivery.
Michaelis presents Password. The word is basement.
Wet. Rain. Leaky. Faucet. Stinky. Socks. Moldy. Underwear. No, it's basement. Really moldy underwear. Well, sometimes. Ew.
Basement waterproofing and French drains. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Make it Michaelis.
Come on, take your basement back. 844-FIX-INDY.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Your rights, your responsibilities, your guns. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back for what's going to be a real short segment here. And by the way, my apologies to Micah, who's on hold. I really wanted to go back to the phone lines. But Micah, buddy, if you wouldn't mind calling in next week, we just got a minute or so here, and I just want to wrap things up. But, you know, a loss again, I got all these different metaphors leap into my head. I've always been into fast cars, and there are times, you go out to the drag strip, for instance, and you break something, and your first thought is, oh man, what's that going to cost me? Or, what was wrong with this thing? And I had somebody walk by one time and shake their head and say, man, you haven't been drag racing very often, have you? And I'm like, no, I went to a couple of, run what you brung type events. And they're like, that's the best thing that can happen for you. You just discovered the weak link in your car. You were right here on a track with trailers and tow trucks available and found out what was going to break. It was a great opportunity for improvement. Man, I'm telling a bunch of whole stories here, but I think the points are well taken. The story from my dad after the football game saying, no, don't be whiny. Don't look for excuses. Don't point fingers. What could you have done to win that game instead of lose it? Legitimate question. What could I have done? What could the two-way project have done to avoid this ridiculous result in the 6th Congressional District? But secondly, what can we all do collectively to get together to reestablish the credibility we need to have, the influence we need to have as Second Amendment proponents? Expect a lot more on that from the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
You may not have 1,000 horsepower, but you're always racing, whether it's to work, to pick something up, or drop someone off. So go the distance, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Shop any of Hubler's 12 locations and choose from over 2,000 vehicles. Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes, all models. Certified vehicles, luxury vehicles, even the hard-to-find ones. Plus, every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report.
'Cause Hubler's got you covered.
No matter where you're racing to, go the distance, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.